This is the 2024 Brewtubers Online Brewers Club Beer Experiment, Fruited American Wheat. Thanks to our sponsors. 5 Star Chemicals. Check out the interactive cleaning guides and learn more about their newest product, Liquid PBW, on their official website, www.5starchemicals.com. Beer and Wine Hobby Homebrew Supply Store. Beer and Wine has one of the biggest yeast selections around and boasts an extensive list of homebrew beer kits to make clones of some of your favorite beers. Check them out at www.beer-wine.com and tell them Brewtubers sent you in the order comment box. Let's get sipping.
Hello, YouTube land. Kurt here again from Fermentation Adventures. I didn't forget my channel's name, thank God. But no, Kurt's here from Fermentation Adventures doing another Brewtubers strawberry fruit experiment review. We all brewed our wheat ale, same recipe that was put together, and we all figured out a different way to add strawberry to the beer for a comparison. Here tonight, the next one up is one of the last PET bottles from Burgles Brewing. He has now joined the rest of us on the dark side with the canning approach, or the can seamers. But here is his good old trusty PET bottle of his strawberry wheat beer that he brewed. Let's see what we got. His name is Strawberry Fields Forever, and the OG is 1057. The final gravity is 1012 with an ABV resultant of 5.9%. So first off the bat, when we talk about the variable, we can see he's accounted for some of the extra sugars, I assume, that came from the strawberry, and for some reason his ABV, his final gravity, is a little bit higher still than the rest of us. I don't have my sheet. Oh, I do have my sheet. I think mine and like Billy's and Gamdude, Billy being Gamdude, and Nick and Dave, all of us, I think, were more in this range here of the around 1050 and a final gravity of 1009 and an ABV 5.4%. Again, I did add strawberry to my beer in a way so that it would get fermented out. Really didn't take effect of that. I looked at it on the tilt. You can see a little bump of the gravity going up and immediately down. I was at a terminal gravity. A little bit of additional sugar was kind of introduced back into the beer, and it fermented out right away. So that's probably not included in this calculation. So maybe I'm more than 5.4% ABV. But you add puree, you're adding some water and dilution in there as well. So is it? I don't know. So I really can't calculate it. But anyway, in comparison to mine, I have mine here because Chris's variable, he used 5 pounds of fresh strawberry puree added at flame out. I believe it was fruit he acquired and froze or whatever he did and pureed it, added at flame out to kind of which would obviously more or less sanitize it or pasteurize it from the heat. Mine, I bought a product that was already supposedly sanitary or aseptic right from the sack, and the bit of the strawberry flavoring I added, who cares what's in that? Again, that was assumed to be somewhat aseptic, or we just didn't care. We just said we YOLO'd it and added it in. But again, both Chris and I think, were closer with the puree. Did Dave do puree too? I forget already. Dave Big Dog, I think he did puree or strawberry at some point at the Cold Crash, I believe. So again, his might have been similar to mine. Maybe he did strawberry. But again, I did puree and I did extract to kind of get a full fruit effect and some kind of additional flavor benefit. Chris did all puree, and we're talking about Chris's beer here right now. So as you can see, first thing off the bat, I can see Chris's still, after all that time in the bottle, his still is hazy like you would expect a wheat beer to be. I don't know if anything's settled out. I'll do my standard practice that I've been doing all these beers of rousing up what's in the bottom of the bottle and pouring it in at the finish of the first kind of run through of the review. But let's see, his is good, and his bottle is very taut. If we look at it, it's a good level fill. Again, cheers. Salute to you, Mr. PET bottle. You serve Chris well. We say goodbye to you. Just taking it off here now. I can already smell some of the strawberry coming from this, so this is pretty cool. Let's pour it in here. Oh wow! So again, oh yeah, there is a little bit of I can see in the glass here. There is some slight hint of I would say, and maybe that's from the haze. Maybe that's my mind doing tricks. But there is kind of I would say a slight little bit of a pinkish tint to their overall beer. It is quite hazy. Kind of really kind of looks more like a hazy IPA. Again, if this wasn't a wheat beer, I just gave it to you at a bar, you might say, "Oh wow, that's a pretty hazy." And again, we got a little bit of foam on top. I can't see bubbles in the glass because of the haze, but I am getting a nice little rocky head here. Nothing huge, but it is kind of persisting a little bit to the skim. If I go in and take a sniff. Oh, interesting. So, and then my glycol chiller kicks in. So hopefully it's just a dull roar there. But yeah, right off the bat, right off the nose, I got a big flash of like fresh wheat dough. That was the first thing I got off the nose, which is kind of interesting. Again, I'm literally in between videos here tonight. I was just making some your average homemade white bread, and that same dough with subtle, kind of the subtle yeast that's a part of a white bread dough. If you ever made your own bread, you definitely know that aroma. That was the first thing that hit me right off the glass. Yeah, now going in again, I still get a bit of that dough smell, that weedy doughiness, goodness, white bread. I do get a little bit of strawberry off the nose as well. Not over the top, but again, the wheat is really kind of, I would say the wheat in here is really coming through, which considered, I've done a lot of these already. This is the second to last, and I never really got such a kind of upfront wheatiness from it all. I can see looking in the bottle, getting off track here, but there was a little bit of yeast or something settled out, so we'll put that in and see what it does. It's definitely not going to make it any more hazy, because this is really a very stable haze. Yeah, I am getting some more. Now I go in for the third time. I am getting some more of that strawberry. No, smelling soap off my hands, so it's not good. Yeah, not over the top, but I am getting a very nice strawberry note off the nose. Subtle little bit of a fruit ester in there, I think, from the yeast. Not really getting a phenolic. Yeah, so that helped. So yeah, I'm definitely getting a little bit of the, like a nice little strawberry brightness from it. I wouldn't say there's a lot of depth to the strawberry, but it's definitely a bright strawberry note on the nose. Now over time, I think that initial huge waft of wheat has kind of dissipated a little bit. So let's go for a sip here. Yeah, interesting. Okay. So a lot was really going on there. Okay, so again, getting strawberry. From what, again, I just watched, I didn't watch Chris review his own beer just now, but earlier I watched Chris review one of the other beers I already watched. He referred to his own again. I'm definitely getting strawberry from this. Not over the top. It's a nice, I would say, a nice balanced kind of expressive strawberry note. There's not a huge amount of it in here. Again, maybe because it's been in the bottle for, you know, he doesn't have dates on here, but I know this has been in the bottle for a while. Maybe it'll be pumped up when I put this little bit of the drag in here. But yeah, it's definitely a nice expressive strawberry note. It's great. Yeah, it's definitely kind of like really round. And again, as I kind of like really had the beer go all over my tongue and with a bit of the retro nasal, it's like, it's not intense strawberry, but there's a real great deal of depth and breadth to the overall strawberry flavor that I really like. It's not a one-trick pony strawberry type deal, which I got from some of the other beers. You know, some of the you know, like I just reviewed Drew's. That's what I got from Drew. Drew used real strawberry, but it really came out of, maybe that was part of going into the boil and being boiled. It really came off as just kind of a one-note strawberry. This came out, even though it was added as flame out, it was really kind of a lot going on strawberry-wise. You know, probably more like, you know, if you eat a strawberry berry, you know, there's a lot more going in from that first smelling the strawberry, eating it and swallowing it. There's a lot that really goes into that experience. And I'm kind of getting that in the beer here. It's really, you know, there's almost like a floral element to it that I don't know if it's necessarily coming from the hops, but it's almost like a, you know, it's really part of, I would say, almost the more of the inner flesh of the strawberry is really kind of coming through, more so than, again, strawberry really doesn't have skin, but, you know, kind of that initial bright aroma you get before you cut into the strawberry, if that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's a good beer. As my table starts wheeling around here. Again, a lot going on. Tasting it, a lot of the beer elements, kind of like the wheat I was getting on the nose initially. Not really getting a lot of the wheat flavor. Not really tasting much any of the yeast. I'm getting a little bit of malt that's poking up there. Sensing a tiny bit of like a tartness, so maybe that's kind of a weedy tartness that's coming through, I guess. And again, I hit the hops. Nothing really going on with the hops. The water itself. Sometimes through the sip, it seemed like it was hitting a couple little really kind of, everything dropped away and there was like a little bit of a watery note, but that was just initially what I was getting on the first sip. I haven't gotten it after. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, there's a real like floral element going on in here too. So it's like it's strawberry, but it's very floral, almost kind of like perfumey. Not in a bad perfume, kind of like, you know, like we're trying to think of the like not like a overbearing lavender perfume, not that, but like a kind of a perfuminess to the flavor that's really nice. So I think that's it. Oh, I didn't do mouthfeel. One more sip. Yeah, it didn't really seem like it was overly carb, but carbonation's on point. A nice low to medium mouthfeel. Is not really, you know, again, the beer comes in my mouth. It's really, feels really sort of like a real a real freshness to it, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's really, it's not crazy thick by any means. You know, it's not that. It's really kind of a almost like a medium mouthfeel. It's really it's interesting. There's a definite body to it, but it really finishes like quite light and clean. There you go. Again, the bitterness is in here. It could be for, it's not really coming out punching you in the face. It complements everything perfectly, I think. And I think that's it. Yeah. All right, let's try a little bit of the dregs in here, see if we get any pumping up the aroma. Oh, wow, yeah, it did add a little bit of turbidity in here. And there's still some left in the bottom of the PET bottle. So yeah, even with, I think too, just like rousing everything up, it did, even though it added even more haze, it was hazy before, there is more of a haziness to it now. I think it did add a little bit more of that subtle pinkish hue. Definitely really brought the head up again. Yeah, that's interesting. So there's, I think it really brought the softness of the mouthfeel. So again, the mouthfeel is probably in the mid, low to medium, but there is a real soft kind of creaminess to it that's really nice. It got improved even by putting some of the dregs in. I do, to nitpick, I do get a few sips here. There seems to be like there's a little bit of there's a subtle clove undertone that comes in that's a bit, I wouldn't say it's really off-putting, but it seems out of place. It's like strawberry, strawberry, strawberry. Get a little bit of this kind of like a little clove note, and that goes away, and then it finishes strawberry. So it's really, that's about the only thing I kind of don't like about it. I don't get it every single sip, which is odd, but on some occasions I get that. But I mean, overall, great strawberry beer. Great use of the variable. Great job, Chris. Yeah, and I think that, again, I don't think it's a phenolic. I think it's probably more of a subtle hop hit in there, or at least maybe a little bit of a herbal hop note that pops up. I think that's what that is, or maybe a kind of a little bit of a, not really a vegetable, but kind of a greenish, a plantish part of the strawberry, maybe even. I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting. If I was scoring it on a score sheet, I'd probably call it a herbal hop note, even though I don't necessarily think it's a herbal hop note. But that's a one little nitpicky thing that it comes up. Some sips it's a little bit more prevalent than others. It's there. It's not horrible, obviously, but in the overall scheme of the beer, it's a very small thing. Everything else is really, I think, pretty well nailed with this. So I really enjoyed it. So let's call it there. Great job, Chris. Again, this is a Brewtubers experiment. I'm in the Brewtubers Homebrew Club, online brewers club, whatever the tagline is. If you're watching this video, you can be a member of the Brewtubers. You don't need to make videos, but if you do, it's great. The only prerequisite for making a video, if you want to be in the experiment, you need to videotape the reviews, put it on YouTube. How you want to go about doing that, you have a lot of latitude. But other than that, Discord, very active, a lot of great guys and girl who all really are passionate about brewing and like doing social media stuff as well. Again, not a prerequisite. We do jump on Zoom, do happy hours, have our monthly meeting like any other homebrew club would, and it's a lot of fun. So if you're interested, check out the link in my video. I believe there's one. If not, you can send me an instant message here or on Instagram, and we'll get you set up. And finally, thank our sponsors, current club sponsors, which would be Beer and Wine Hobby at beer-wine.com. Great homebrew store out of Massachusetts. They do offer, some competitive free shipping tiers, and they pretty much have almost any sort of thing you would look for if you're a home brewer. And our other sponsor is 5 Star Chemicals, which again, everyone, if you're into home brewing, you should know 5 Star Chemicals products. Most likely you do, unless you're an old timer and you're set in your ways. 5 Star Chemicals, they make great products to make your brewing easier and better. That's my spiel. So thank you for watching. If you're inclined, please like and subscribe, and come back and check out the next video. One more fruit experiment to go, and I'll probably do a wrap up as well with my overall thoughts on the experiment. All right, cheers.